Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Vita. Welcome again to another segment of Dr. Vita Presents Infertility Awareness Week. My name is Dr. Vita. I help women with reproductive issues, infertility, irregular periods, PCOS, fibroids, you name it. And so today we have a special guest in honor of Infertility Awareness Week. We have been bringing awesome content to you all week. Yesterday, I had a great time talking about CBD. The day before yesterday, we had a great time talking about weight loss. And so today we're going to talk about sustainable menstruation. And I'm sure a lot of you are like, what the heck does that mean? And so we have Zeal Desai from Green Periods that's here. And we're going to briefly talk about the initiatives that they have and exactly what we mean by sustainable menstruation. So hi, Zeal. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, Dr. Vita. Thank you so much for having me on your show. You're doing great work. And my name is Zeal. I am the co-founder of Green Periods. We are a sustainable menstruation initiative. We're trying to create awareness on the ecological and economic impacts of menstruation by quantifying and creating data around how much waste and costs are associated with menstruation. It's a big problem. It's the need of the hour right now. So we're thrilled to be sharing a menstrual footprint calculator. That's a new feature that we just launched. We literally just launched the whole idea on a website. It's called greenperiods.org. So recommend you to check it out.
Amazing. And so you mentioned the waste and cost implications of feminine products. What about the health effects? Is that something that you all talk about as well?
Absolutely. And that's a great point you made over there. So there's so little that has been researched in this field of menstruation and the kind of health impacts that these products have on menstruators. And the reason I'm using the word menstruators, I know that there is a big movement going on around being more inclusive. So in an effort to be more inclusive, we will use gender neutral language so that everybody feels included. So going back to your question, I think that there's a big impact on the health that more needs to be researched and talked about. For instance, you have the chemicals that these products contain that we don't exactly know. We're not quite sure if they have long-lasting effects, but there have been very preliminary studies that point to dioxins, which are endocrine disruptors and carcinogens. So you have tampons, for instance. Instead of just collecting blood, they absorb the menstrual fluids. And that is also one of the reasons why when our bodies are so much in close contact with these kinds of disposable products that contain all kinds of dyes and chemicals and ingredients are not disclosed, then that's a big problem because the vaginal canal is such an absorbing part of our body that it then leads to all kinds of health problems for menstruators in general.
I have definitely seen this on my own journey. When I was younger, maybe a teenager, I used tampons. And then I was just kind of like, I felt a little weird when I took them out. And then I used pads for a long bit of time. But I started looking into exactly how they make these menstrual pads. And there are toxic materials that are on the menstrual pads, the disposable ones. Do you know anything about that? Do you know just kind of about the materials that are used to make menstrual pads?
Yeah, like I previously mentioned, these companies that produce these disposable products are not required by the FDA to disclose every single ingredient that these products are made out of. So it's a big, well-kept secret that most people are not aware of. Now, there is a movement. There are activists actively trying to have these companies disclose the products, and some companies have started to do that. I can't name a company off the top of my head at this point. However, there are something called PFOAs, That's one type of a chemical that they have also found in menstrual underwear. And there's a company out there, I won't be naming names, for protecting their privacy on this interview, but they have it's a very well-known company, it's a very well-known brand, and they have a class action lawsuit going on against them because of the PFOAs and how they have been linked to cancer and other kind of endocrine disrupting diseases. So it is definitely a big issue that needs to have more limelight and needs to be more in the forefront, even in the scientific communities, and more research needs to be done around these products.
I used to have like PMS and bad cramps and things like that. And when I stopped using those disposable tampons and pads and things like that, I noticed a big difference in just how my periods go. The flow is lighter than it used to be. The number of days that I bleed, and I haven't used disposable menstrual products in years now. So this is definitely something that I'm passionate about. And when we're talking about these chemicals that are on these feminine hygiene products, think about how much we use feminine hygiene products. It's every single month for a number of years. And many women will have them on for 5 to 7 days. Some women, I have a lot of patients that have like their period for up to months at a time. And so imagine just having that material on your skin. It used to make me itch and uncomfortable. I know women that I've told to stop using these disposable products, and they had chronic yeast infections and different things like that. And so we have a question here. So what is the best menstrual product to use? Is using cloth better than pads? You want to answer that?
Yeah, so of course I'm trying to be very unbiased here, and you can find a lot of information out there. If you just a starting point is greenperiods.org, and we have a table of different products that are available on the market these days, both disposables and reusables. And it's on our Learn section. So you can go to greenperiods.org, and we have kind of classified these products based on the amount of time that you can use a product for, how much is the wear time, what are the suggested care instructions, what kind of risks are associated, and we don't go too much into detail with each item, but it's a very good starting point. So going back to the question here, whether reusable pads or disposable pads, of course, like we were just talking about here, there's all kinds of chemicals that are undisclosed ingredients that we're not really aware of in all kinds of products that are available on the market, that we call them conventional disposable products. So cloth pads, they're made of cotton in general, and that's what I don't think that there are many other absorbing materials out there these days that cloth pads are made out of. But obviously they're kind of equivalent to a lot of materials that we wear on our clothes, right? So definitely cloth pads, they're more natural, if that's the right kind of concept in this case. And then it's also very economical to use, right? So instead of wasting money, so if you do the research, we have come up with the numbers, and you have over a lifetime, it's 40 years that we menstruate for, and we're spending at least around $2,000 on disposable products over a lifetime, versus just $150. So it's 10 to 12 times more expensive to use these disposable products compared to reusables. And then when we look at the waste implications for the planet, we're looking at 110 times more waste. So we're comparing around 2 pounds of waste to 220 pounds of waste when we're using disposable products. So green periods definitely is of the opinion that any kind of a reusable product is longer lasting. So it prevents the need to have these recurring costs and needs of buying a new product yet every single month.
And I have my reusable pads. I've never had to throw any away or buy new ones. They look the exact same as they were when I got them, and I've had them for years. So the question is it greenperiods.org or greenperiods.org?
Green periods with an S.
With an S. Okay, so it's greenperiods.org. Okay, so can we hear a little bit about your experience with using feminine hygiene products like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are so many different kinds of menstrual products out there in the market these days. And I started my journey with conventional pads and even tampons. When I started swimming lessons, I had to switch to tampons for lack of a better alternative. I was never a big fan of either one of those products because to me, disposable pads just felt like sitting with adult diapers on in my own blood all day long. It just felt really gross. Like, you know how you have to think about that time of the month and then shave your vulva? I mean, it's a real thing that most people don't talk about, right? So it was never a very pleasant experience with pads, and then tampons were just another story. It would just feel very dry because of the absorbing power of tampons in my vaginal canal. So I was never really super comfortable using those products. So I started looking. This was 10 years ago. So I started looking online. There wasn't any talk about reusable products. And then I came across something called a menstrual cup. So fast forward 10 years, I've been using a single cup and I haven't had to look back. I haven't had to go back to any other options. It's been a life changer, a game changer for me. And just looking at how much I have benefited from these products made me realize that there needs to be more talk, there needs to be more done about it. And thankfully, there is more talk today. And I think that it's really great. It was about time for me to get more active and involved in this whole green period movement, because now more than ever, it's the need of the hour. We know that climate change is a huge issue. And then I started doing my calculations, because most people don't think about, how much am I, wasting with disposable products, or how much are they costing me? And that's when I realized, oh my goodness, this is huge. The difference in how much just the money I would save, right? So even personally, it's a very big benefit of using a reusable product. And then I realized that, there's also many other options, not just the reusable menstrual cup. And if somebody doesn't want to insert anything into their vagina, there is the reusable cloth, pads, and all kinds of other options out there. So that's how I got started.
Amazing. And so since you started using the cup, do you see any changes with your menstrual cycle?
Yes. So before I started with the cup, I was never really in contact with my own menstrual blood, right? Because I was just throwing the product away. It's like, just throw it and forget it kind of a scenario, right? With a cup, you look at your blood. You can touch it, you can feel it. So there is that tangible aspect about using one. Not only that, I know, exactly like where my cup needs to sit inside of my body, So I'm definitely more aware of how my body functions, how I feel, my relationship with the cup, even my periods. So it's definitely made it more personal for me. And not only that, I just feel like it's just been so comfortable and convenient to use it. I know there's a big, kind of down like this pushback on reusable products. And people are like, no, but it's not convenient, I have to wash my pads, like menstrual blood is gross and these kinds of things. But then once I started using the cup, I realized my menstrual blood is not gross. There is no odor whatsoever.
Yep.
It's literally so easy to just put it in, take it out, dump it in the toilet, and just wash it with soap. I know people that have never boiled a cup and they've been using one for 10 years. I know boiling is a big thing in the cup community, but there are people who are, I'm talking about a particular team member who has a PhD in biochemistry, and she's never boiled her own cup. And she's part of Green Period's team, and she's been okay, right? So it's extremely easy to use it. I can just take it with me, or just even put it in before I get my period, right? And if I think that I might get it today, I was just traveling 2 days ago, and I knew that my period was about to arrive anytime, so I just had it in. So it's been a game changer.
I like what you said about you actually like seeing and looking at your menstrual blood. A lot of times I ask women who, especially having fertility issues, like, okay, hey, what does your blood look like? And I have a post on Instagram where I was saying, okay, if your blood is this color, that's what this shows. Your blood will tell so much about nutritional deficiencies. And if you have blood clots in your blood, that tells a lot about what's going on and, within your system. So it's important for you to have a connection with that blood. It's important for you to touch it. It's important for you to clean your menstrual products so you know what's going on in your body.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so I have a question. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, because I think maybe you can also talk a little bit about, or maybe we do a post. This is just an idea, because I know that isn't there a connection with the color of your blood and what it means in terms of medically. Like, I know that there's things out there where it's like a light pink blood signifies X, or a brown blood. If it's like super dark brown, or even gray blood, it signifies something else. So I know that is also a thing.
I did post on that. I have a post that I posted actually this week on Tuesday. So you can go check that out on my Instagram, and then it has different colors on there that you can, it only has 4 of the top colors, but I'm going to do a color wheel in a few weeks that has like all of the colors. Even the ones that aren't as popular. So back to the menstrual cups, generally are all menstrual cups safe, or are there some that people are putting like toxic chemicals on? Like, are any of them made out of plastic or anything like that?
Yeah, there's just so much out there these days that it is best to really look at what these cups are made of. There are a lot of, they call them cheapies or fakes. I don't know if all the cheap cups are bad, so we cannot generalize in that way. But I have heard of cups that are made of not of the medical grade silicone, because that's what the material that you want to look out for with menstrual cups in particular is medical grade silicone. So or latex, but then if for people who have latex allergies, of course they want to stay away from those. There are also FDA cleared cups on the market. So if you just Google FDA approved menstrual cups, and you can go on the fda.gov website and see the brands that are recommended by the FDA if you want to be super sure. However, just because a brand doesn't have an FDA seal of approval doesn't mean that it's unsafe to use. But you definitely want to stick to the 2 ingredients that I just mentioned.
Amazing. So Zeal, what's your educational background? First off, let me just say, I feel like we're following each other, because I'm from Durham, North Carolina, or I spent most of my life in Durham, North Carolina, and you went to Duke, and then we're both in Texas together. So
yes,
like going all over the place. So I don't know where we're going to go next.
Definitely a lot of connection over here. So I feel like for a reason, we meet. I feel like everything has a purpose in life, and the reason that we cross paths, and we might have crossed paths in the past without even knowing each other. So yeah, it's funny. But I was at Duke, like you mentioned. I did my master's in business. And before that, I did my bachelor's in international relations from UT Austin. So I'm in Austin, Texas now. And I was also in Florida for a bit and lived in Mexico and India. I'm from India originally.
Which part of Florida were you in?
I was in the Panhandle in a very little town called Niceville. It was my first entry point into the US, and it was nice to be in a very small place and get used to the whole American lifestyle.
Awesome. Yeah, I lived in Florida for some time too. So I was just
whereabouts?
I was in Gainesville, where University of Florida is. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Vita, I really feel like you were following me because I got into UF.
Oh, really?
I went and visited. I also got into UT Austin, but then I decided UT Austin. I just fell in love with Austin when I visited.
Austin's amazing. Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, well, tell our followers how they can find you, and a little bit more about what you can offer to the listeners.
Absolutely. So, well, what we offer is education and awareness on sustainable menstruation. So, we have the personalized menstrual footprint calculator where we tell an individual's menstrual impact on the environment and on their wallet. So basically we call it that our mission is that green periods are good for you because they're good for your health. They're good for your wallet because it's way cheaper to use reusable products. And then they're also better for the planet. So good for you, good for your wallet, and good for the planet. So anything that really relates with sustainable menstruation, and we're just getting started. So we're putting together a lot of educational content surrounding sustainable menstruation because we haven't come across a single place that tells you about the different kinds of products that are even available on the market. There's a lot of lack of information surrounding these products. So that's what Green Periods is here for. We're trying to put an end, or we're trying to just tackle climate change, menstrual stigma by having conversations around periods and period poverty by making these reusable products more accessible to the people who can really benefit from them, like the poor people who don't need to go out there and worry about getting a disposable product every single month. And then how can you follow us? You can actually visit Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn and look for Green Periods. And we have a logo, a streamlined logo that you can find on our website, and follow us on these channels.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time. You heard it, everyone. This is a very, very important topic, especially as we are talking about infertility awareness. This is a big thing. Not only are these disposable products affecting the environment, and not only are they costly, but they actually mess with our menstrual cycles and they add to PMS. And so those chemicals are very, very toxic to our bodies. And so it's great for us to look at other alternatives. And Zeal and I both have been using other alternatives for years now. So you heard her contact information. Feel free to reach out to her. Go use their calculator and the other resources on their website. So tomorrow, join us as we will be talking about the EMFs from your Wi-Fi, cell phones, etc., and how they affect fertility. So we'll be on at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you tomorrow, everyone. Bye-bye.